What's up, guys, and welcome back. So today's video, or the next couple days, I guess it'll be one video for you guys anyways. Decided to 5-lug the Fox body. Yeah, that one out there. So I've ordered all the parts. I've ordered the wheels, tires, the front 5-lug setup, the backs I ordered from Strange because I already have a fully built rear end with all Strange stuff with C-clip eliminators and everything. So I just went ahead and ordered a whole nother axle kit with the 5-lug, and I'm going to pull my 4-lug axles out, put them in this brand new kit, and then just sell the kit to make it easier. And just buying the axles and studs and then having to press my C-clip eliminators off these 4-lugs and back onto the 5-lugs, it was like a little over $400 anyways, so it wasn't much more just to get the kit, and I'm going to make more money back this way. But anyways, some of the parts that had already come in, so I'm going to go ahead and open some of these boxes and show you guys what we got here. So these obviously are from LMR. I order quite a bit of reproduction or factory type parts through them. Haven't really ever had any issues. Matter of fact, the 4-lug axles that are in that car right now, the axle kit from Strange, I did buy from LMR. This time I ordered directly from Strange because I ordered them with the C-clip eliminators already pressed on. But yeah, so let me pause this here for a second and we'll be right back once I get these boxes opened. Alright, as you can see, the parts that came in right now were my front 5-lug conversion set, which most of you may know this, but for those who don't, I guess you could say the correct way to do this, to do a 5-lug swap on the front, would be to get the SN95 spindles, hubs, all that, and convert it over that way. But places like LMR and some other companies do have like these conversion rotors because, well, the rotors are pressed in, or the studs are pressed into the rotors on these cars, so you can just swap rotors and gain 5-lugs that way. The only downside to doing it this way is how far your center hub here sticks out. A lot of wheels, you won't be able to put the center cap over it because of that, because of how far this hangs out. For most people that might not be, a big deal. Obviously, to me, it's not. If the wheels I went ahead and ordered, if I can't put the center cap on it, I can't put the center cap on it. But hopefully I can, or I can figure out a way to run it. But like I said, if not, I'm not too concerned about it. And as far as the backs, if you're not switching over to discs, obviously it's really easy. You order a 5-lug rotor, or drum, sorry, from I think it's an 87 to 92 Ford Ranger, but it has to be a 9-inch drum. They make these in a 9 and a 10. I've seen guys that have converted to the 10s, but I'm not really sure how to do that. Obviously, you need other parts. This is a direct bolt-on or slide-on, I guess you could say, to a factory rear end on a Mustang. Once you put the 5-lug axles in, this literally will slide right on. No issues, no other parts needed, nothing. So yeah, so far that's what's arrived. I'm still waiting on, like I said, the wheels, tires, and the axle kit. That should all be here within the next couple days. But like I said, this stuff just showed up from LMR, so I figured I'd start the video out here and kind of show you guys what has arrived so far. Once everything else rolls in, once I get everything, I'm going to go ahead and get the tires mounted on the wheels. I'll get the car pulled in here and kind of, I guess, make a how-to video in this video also of how to install all this stuff. It's really easy. As far as the back goes, it won't be, most people's, I guess, won't be like mine unless you have C-clip eliminators. It makes it really easy to swap axles. So my rear axle install will obviously be different than most. But yeah, once that stuff, the rest of the parts get in here, I'll pick back up from there. What's up, guys? It's a couple days later now. All the parts did show up. I have most of it done. I just kind of got to work on it and didn't really film too much, so the rear axles are in. Uh, the driver's side is actually done also, but I'm gonna just kind of show you the old axles now and kind of explain how they go on. They're really easy. It should be pretty easy to explain, and then I'll kind of show you the specs and what brand of wheels I got, and then I'm going to be pressing some 3-inch studs into the passenger side rotor. Like I said, I already did the driver's side. It's already done. It's actually, all the wheels are already on too, but we'll obviously get to that later. But I have to press the 3-inch studs in still because I am going to have to run a small spacer on the front, and I wasn't comfortable with using the factory studs that are only like an inch and 3/4 or so long, so I did order some Moroso 3-inch studs, which I will show you the part number and everything. But let me spin the camera around here and show you the old axles, and we'll talk about how these bolt in and what they do. Okay, so obviously you can see this is a 4-lug axle. These are the strange axles that were in my car. This is a C-clip eliminator here. The bearings and everything are inside. They do press on with this wedding ring then in here. But you will, you have to cut some off of your axle tube to use these, and then these will obviously go through your backing plate, whatever you want to call it, that's behind your drum in the back. And then they'll physically go through that and then into the axle flange, and then they'll bolt in from behind that. And that pretty much means you don't need C-clips inside the differential then anymore, because I'm sure most of you have seen what happens when an axle decides to break going down the track or wherever, and the whole axle can actually come out of the rear end and go flying down the road. This stops that. If one of the axles breaks in half, since they're actually bolted in from the outside now of the axle housing, they can't come out. If they snap, but they will not fly out. You won't lose a wheel, you know, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's pretty much the whole gist of it. I think I did explain before that I bought the whole kit, and all I used out of it was the 5-lug axles, so now I do have an entire 4-lug 35 spline. C-clip eliminator, spool, everything for a factory length 8.8. I will be selling this. Probably going to ask about $500 for it. New, it is a $650 kit, and the 4-lug axles that I pulled out have 100 miles on them. That's literally it. So if you're interested, you know, comment in the video, you know, whatever. Now, the wheels. I'm going to spin the camera around, show you what brand, what size, blah, blah, blah. So, they are, not really sure how to say this, but they're an Aldhan. I have no idea. I did go with an 18 by 9. There's everything you might be interested in. It's an LS007 wheel, which, as I said, I'm not going to show you right now, so I guess you could cheat and go Google it if you really wanted to, but I'm sure not many of you are really that concerned. I already have the rotor pulled off, so I'm not going to show you how to take it off, but I'm going to show you how to put it on, which it's super easy, and obviously it's just reversed to take it off. So let me set the camera up here so I can actually sit it down and show you how to put these studs in, and also how to put the rotor back on. Basically, this is what you have to do if you need to change yours, whether they're 4-lug or you're converting to 5-lug. You'll have to do this regardless on a Fox body, unless you convert the front using 94, 95 spindles and everything. Then the studs are actually pressed into the hub and not the rotor. I didn't do it that way. It's a little more expensive, but it's also a little better, but I decided to do it this way instead. It's really whatever you want to do. So yeah, let me set the camera down here, and we'll get going on this stud install. Alright, so first off, here's the part number for the studs. Like I said, these are Moroso 3-inch stud. They are for the front of a Fox, whether you're still 4-lug or 5-lug, they will fit. Okay, so, and here's what we'll be using to install them too. Part number up there at the top. This thing makes this a breeze to put studs in. Sometimes you can do the old, lug nut washer trick, then it works pretty good. Other times it doesn't work, and you get this that happens. Yeah. Sometimes it just destroys them, so you obviously don't want to do that. So with this little tool, it kind of prevents that from happening. And then what I also like to do is, first off, let's put a stud under here. Alright, so you got your stud in there. I'll take a washer with some anti-seize on it so it can kind of spin around and not mar up the rotor or anything. I'll put that over there. And then I'll take some more anti-seize, because a lot of the time if you don't do this, it will it can still mess the threads up or completely just fuse itself like what I just showed you. And obviously you don't want that to happen. So you're going to go ahead, put that on there, and then you're going to want to get under here to be able to push this up. You don't want to take a lug nut, obviously. You run it down until it's, snug, whatever, it don't really matter. And then you take, it's over here, take a socket, take your impact, whatever brand you choose. I have, obviously, the big Milwaukee, and then you're just gonna suck it in there. Alright, so let's check, and just like that, it's in. Now you go back, the lug nut off. And go ahead and put your other one in and do the same exact thing. It's that simple. Really nothing to it. Like I said, just this tool makes it a lot easier, a lot less of a chance of messing it up. Especially if you have to order studs like I did. You really don't want to have one screw up on you and not be able to complete the job. That's really not a good time. So this tool is made by Lyle, I guess is how you say it. They do sell it. I mean, I actually bought this one local at O'Reilly's. The only downfall to it, for how simple of a design it is, I mean, it's basically just a roller bearing type deal, but it is about $40, which is a little ridiculous. But if it saves you from snapping studs, and if you do wheel studs quite often, I guess it would pay for itself. But let's knock this last one here real quick. There we go. Just like that. You have your wheel studs in. So, I'm going to clean up my mess here. Get this anti-seize off of everything, off my fingers so I don't look like the Tin Man. And then we're going to assemble the rotor on the car. I'm going to show you guys exactly how you do that. So let me get all this cleaned up and we'll be right back. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and throw this rotor on. Try not to block the camera here. Obviously, it just slips over the spindle. It's pretty much, you know, common sense. Now, you have a bearing. This is two pieces, but there's grease on it, so they're just kind of stuck together. You have your bearing here, and you have this little flat washer. The bearing goes inside first, and the washer has this little tab in the middle of it. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but it has to match up with the slot here in the spindle. It's like a little keyway or whatever. And you literally just put them in there just like that. They just slide right in. Then you've got this nut that will go on next. No one said this was a clean job, by the way. You're gonna get greasy and slimy, you know, blah blah blah. You don't tighten this with a wrench. Put it on there finger tight, call it good. Make sure everything spins. That's it. Then you have this weird looking little, it's almost like, I guess, a lock, kinda. It's got a bunch of little teeth on it and stuff. All this does is slip over the nut you just put on. But you need to make sure when you put it on, with the little teeth that are in the center of it, you put it on so that the hole for the cotter pin goes through there. Obviously, last but not least, you have your cotter pin. That'll slide right down through there. Well, try not to get both my hands disgusting here. There. Slide it right down in there. Let me wipe my hand real quick. Bend that cotter pin, put the dust cap on, and you're done. It's literally that simple. So you do brakes on the front of these, or if you're doing 5-wood conversion this way, super, super simple. Nothing to it. Hell, it takes longer to take the wheel off than to do this. So, take a pair of needle nose, grab your cotter pin here, bend it around, take your dust cover, you'll pop that back in. Get your hands clean, as clean as you can, because I did just paint these. Well, it's been a little while, but I did just paint my rotors, and I'd prefer that they stay clean for at least a little bit. Or not my rotor, sorry, my caliper. There we go. Now, I do need to put some grease on my sliders here because they are pretty dry. So hang with me for just a second and be right back. Alright, so you go ahead and throw your slide pins back in. That's all that holds your caliper on. Go ahead and torque them down. And you're good to go. That's simple. That's how you do it. So, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video here, get the wheel back on, and finally reveal it for you guys and show you what wheels I went with. So we'll be right back. Alright guys, well obviously you now know what they are. or what they look like. There's the reveal. Car is fully 5-lug swap now. I think the wheels look awesome on it. Obviously, I was going to pull it out of the garage, and within the last, 2 minutes, it's now pouring. So can't really pull it out and do a walk around, and it was sunny today, and obviously now is no longer sunny. So yeah, that's my luck, but whatever. You guys get the gist of it. And here, as I'm standing here, and there's a giant brown recluse behind me stalking me. Yeah, they're everywhere here. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, get tormented by them all the time. But yeah, anyways, that's what they look like. They are, I don't know if I stated earlier, but they are bronze, which you can kind of tell. I'm sure the camera's picking it up, but I think they look great with this color. The front could come down just a smidge, but I don't really know if I'm going to do that. I might just deal with it, because obviously when I did the LS swap, I did retain the truck pan, and it hangs pretty close to the ground, so I don't really want to chance lowering the front of the car, because the front of the car is stock height, the rear is lowered. But if I lower the front, it's just going to make everything more difficult. Going over speed bumps and stuff, I'll be afraid I'm going to rub dips in the road, things like that. So I'll probably just leave it alone, because it doesn't really look that bad. But yeah, I think the wheels look awesome. Really happy with them. Now I just need to get some stuff sold. Like I said earlier, whole axle kit for a factory length 8.8 is for sale. The old wheels and tires are for sale. They are a Convo Pro. The front's a 15x3, I believe, with a 165/80/15. All these tires are brand new. They all literally have 100 miles on them. The backs are a 15x9 with a 235/60/15 Mickey Thompson ET Street. So a drag radial. For those, looking to get probably 600, which is a hell of a deal considering the tires alone are around 550 new. So yeah, got that, got those. There's stuff for sale everywhere. If anybody needs a giant fuel pump, if this would focus, right, right in there, or some LX taillight housings, we got those too. There's a bunch of stuff for sale. But anyways, not going to keep rambling. This video is probably going to be stupid long, like all of mine, because I talk too much. But car's done. Showed you guys how to do what needs to be done, as easy as it is, what studs to use, the part numbers for everything. So with that said, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm sweating. Probably go in the house, get in the AC, relax. But yep, that'll be it for this video, guys. As always, please comment, like, subscribe, and we will see you.